Hello Instagrammers, and welcome back to Retro Direction. My name's Michael, and this is my new YouTube channel, which is all about retro game reviews, and in particular PlayStation and Saturn, at least to start with. And listen to this.
The battle arena toshinden. Many years have passed since this tournament, known only to those in the underworld, was last held. Some fighters have come for personal glory. Others have come to fight for those they love. But all will do their best to be victorious in this tournament, which will decide their fortunes.
Well, we had to listen to the voiceover there. That's just to give you a little bit of heads up on the story. Well, welcome to this review of Battle Arena Toshinden, I think probably one of the very first, if not the first, PlayStation game to be released onto Sony's, at the time, Super Console. And it was released by Takara and in 1995, so we're going back quite a way there. Now, first of all, just for the purposes of the review, I'm just going to go into the options screen, just to change a few things. There we are, just so we can get a good feel of what the game's all about. Now, we're going to be looking at two games in this review. The first one will be the original Toshinden, of course. The second one, it will be Toshinden 3, and it's just a little bit of a comparison here. Right, first of all, let's get stuck in. Now, this is the character I always choose, is Eiji. He's kind of like a Japanese, sword-swinging hero. So, now first of all, when you talk about a game, the first thing you're going to look at is how good it looks. That's the first thing. And at the time, this was considered state-of-the-art. I mean, first of all, it was the first game to introduce the shift into 3D for fighting games, and I'll show you in the next round, but there's a move where your character can roll into the background and out of it. So that's the 3D perspective there. The graphics are pretty good. As you can see, they're all texture mapped. They are polygon characters. And that's pretty much Toshinden in a nutshell, unfortunately. Now, the characters themselves, they're not too bad. They're quite a diverse bunch of people. They're not blessed with a great variety of moves, unfortunately. Now, the basic moves are weak slash here, weak thrust, let's say, and a strong slash, which if you're close to your character, it doubles up as a double one. If I can get one on him. There you go. And then you got a weak kick, which is this one, and then a roundhouse, as they call it, which is like a slower but stronger kick, which can disable opponents pretty easily. And that's pretty much Toshinden in a nutshell, really. Yeah, so I could easily say, end of review, thanks for watching, but no, we'll touch on a few more things. First of all, the music in the game is amazing. And there are a couple of the tracks that are pretty standout. I mean, I've actually recorded them onto CD to play them in the car while I drive. I've made a sort of a compilation of game music because some of this Japanese pop is really quite memorable. Now, Toshinden was quite well received when it was first released. It was supposed to be the Virtua Fighter beta. Well, I think compared to the original Virtua Fighter, Tekken does look a little bit better in terms of texture mapped graphics. Unfortunately, the movement is not very good because the characters aren't motion captured. So they do move like very dodgy marionettes. But it's not too bad. I mean, you get the gist of what they're trying to do. The other thing is the lack of depth. There isn't a lot of depth here at all. The characters only have very basic, slashing and kicking moves. and they've got special projectile moves. You know, like fireballs and that sort of uppercut move I'm using to try and... And he's got me. There you go. But yes, unfortunately, they don't have a lot of depth to the combat here. So in that respect, it does lose out to games like Virtua Fighter and Tekken. But reception-wise, Toshinden was received very well because it was the first game to actually utilise 3D properly. As in, there you go, you can roll into the background, you can roll out of it as well. This OAP is getting on my nerves. There you go. This is the only time I'd ever hit a senior citizen in Toshinden and Virtua Fighter, of course. Oh yes, there are a couple of throws. There you go. Each fighter has a throw besides your basic slashing moves. They also have a desperation move, which I think when the character gets down to about 10% health, he releases this desperation move, which is it consists of a very, very super fast flurry of slashes and kicks and punches and what have you, and it tries to even up the odds for you. But then again, if your other character's got much more health than you, then you know, and he's lucky enough to beat you, he will. Now, in terms of special effects, you know the PlayStation has those in spades, and a very good example of that is here. For example, in this character I'm fighting against, this is Ellis. Now, while I'm whipping her pantalooned ass, as you can see, the garment itself is translucent, and that is one of the effects that the PlayStation does extremely well. It's known for its light sourcing capabilities, its transparencies, its translucency effects. It's very impressive stuff. But unfortunately, once you complete the game and you unlock your secret character, there's not really much to come back to. The graphics are very impressive. Well, they certainly were for the time. The backgrounds are really good. The music is amazing. In particular, this piece of music here. I'm not going to say too much here. You just have a quick listen. There you go. Now some of the music tracks are really quite memorable. And of course, one thing that this game does have in spades is charm. It's very charming. It just is charming. I mean, I personally love this game. I know it's not got very good movement, there's no motion capture, it doesn't have a lot of moves, but as a game itself, it's extremely charming. Now, Toshinden itself has 4 incarnations. A couple of them, believe it or not, were released on the Saturn. She's just knocked me off the edge. Yes, now, believe it or not, the Saturn version of this was in development while they were still making this one here on the PlayStation. Now, when this first came out, it was meant to be a PlayStation exclusive. And then about a year or so later, they released the Sega Saturn version, which they pretty much ported over without too many problems. The only things lacking were the special effects. As you know, the Saturn doesn't do translucency effects and transparencies very well at all. The character with the pantaloons, Ellis, when you look at her on the Saturn version, it's more like a netting or some sort of a mesh. It's not a very good transparency effect, which is quite unfortunate. But the game was ported over to the Saturn without any problems. And then following that, so the Saturn had Toshinden Yura, which was like a high resolution version of it. Oh dear, that's taught me, hasn't it? Look at that. Well, she's definitely got me there. Anyway, that is pretty much Toshinden. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit of Toshinden 3. Toshinden 2 is pretty much the same thing. And yes, it's got a couple more characters, a couple more bosses to unlock, slightly more impressive stages, the addition of more light sourcing, because these characters are pretty well light sourced in this game as well. But the sequel had a little bit more, fancy effects and fancy light sourcing and such. So it wasn't bad at all. But the third one is my personal favourite, I think. I mean, I still love the first one, of course. Nothing can beat the first one. But the third one, they really tried to sort of improve it, to introduce it into the plethora of, other fighting games that there are on the PlayStation. And they really tried to keep up. But the unfortunate thing about the Toshinden franchise, it's not really that good. It's okay. If you're a retro game fan, they're all brilliant, because we just love them for the charm that they have. I mean, the fourth one is just, well, okay. Say no more. It's not very good. But I'm going to show you a little bit of the third one, just to let you all see what Takara tried to do with Toshinden 3, how they tried to improve it. So I'm just going to pause this filming here, and I'm going to switch games, and I'll be back with you shortly. It'll take me perhaps a minute or so, but well, it'll take just a couple of seconds before you guys see the switch. So bear with me, I shall return. And I'm back with you now. Okay, so we're going to have a look at Toshinden 3 now. Now, Toshinden 3 did come out a couple of years later. To be honest with you, it's not bad. Now, I'll show you just the few improvements that Takara injected into it there, just to try and sort of help it keep up with the gang. Okay, it needed to compete with the big boys, so it had to be a part of it. Now, I'm just moving around here, but I'll just show you briefly. So we don't need any intros. It does have the usual story and plot, so on and so forth. But we're going to go into the options screen again. Let's see. About time infinite, set point 1, difficulty normal. I'm going to set the difficulty to easy. Now, this is one of the changes. First of all, you have a selection of 2 frame rates. You have 25 frames a second, where you get very, very good graphics, of course, where you get all the texture mapped characters and the backgrounds, which are mostly enclosed, but they're all texture mapped. If you choose 50 frames, you get a very, very smooth frame rate. I think it's about, well, so as the number says, it's in the UK version, which is what we're reviewing here, it's 50 frames a second. And it's not bad, but I'll show you both. Anyway, let's go about our business here. Now, first of all, you know what I'm trying to do? Let's find the controls. Ah, there you are. Controller. Right, so we're going to do that. Special attack 1, special attack 2. Oh, there's a reversal attack. Let's do the reversal attack for L1. And let's leave it at that. If you want to play the game and find out what it has to offer, by all means, go for it. Right, we're going into arcade mode. Now, there are lots more characters to choose from. As you can see, the boxes with the question marks are the ones that are left to unlock. So you've got 14. And what are we going to choose today? Where's my friend Eiji? There he is. Now, first of all, there are a lot of characters, and they have also added a few more moves, and they've added easy combination attacks. So you're not limited to, weak slash, strong slash, weak kick and strong kick. It's now a little bit better. And the animation is still non-motion captured, but it's a bit better and smoother. So let's start with some combos here. You can bugger off. And you can mix them up as well. So if you keep pressing the square button, that's the weak attack. So it links into a combo. And it's the same with the kicks. let's see if I can do a special move. Oh, of course he won't let me. And this is easy mode, you know. And pretty much the same special moves as the last one. So that's it. Now, all of the arenas have got this enclosed thing about them. They're not bad. They're okay. They're pretty good backgrounds. The graphics are still a little bit on the messy side, but then again, back in the day, that was what was to be expected. Right, it's now loading. Come on. Don't you just hate the now loading screen? Mind you, the loading times aren't too bad. So you can do some juggle moves as well. So there are quite a few moves, as you can see. And that's the reversal attack. So, all in all, Takara have done a very good job of trying to keep Toshinden moving with the times and being a part of the game. Anyway, now I'm going to show you something different. Let's have a look. I might have to quit the actual game to show you the other graphical option, but we can do that quickly. That won't take long. Now, we're going to go into the 50 frames a second mode, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So, options. So let's do that. And go into arcade. We'll choose good old AG again, because I like him. Now, I have completed this game a few times. You do unlock a few characters. I don't remember what the criteria is to unlock every single one, but I take it you've got to do a few actions. Right, now first of all, the compromise to having a smooth frame rate is compromising the texture mapping. No, so there's not a lot, if any, texture mapping at all on the backgrounds. They're raw polygons now. So there's the light sourcing and the texture mapping on the characters only. So there you have it. And the rest of the stages are pretty much like that. Now, it's not bad to play them this way if you want, a smoother experience. Because, if you think about it, if you think back to the game Tabal, in particular the first one, the graphical style of that one was very much like this one. It was just raw polygon graphics. We'll see another background now after this one, and we can kind of wrap this up. But basically, that's Toshinden for you, in a nutshell. And yeah, if you're a retro game collector and you're a fighting game fanatic, you're still going to love it, because it'll still bring you a certain amount of very charming fun. Because the thing about these games is that, they are charming. Now, Toshinden 3 didn't gain very good reviews at all, unfortunately. It didn't gain a very good following. Ah, there you go. Now, if you remember this background from when I played it with the 25 frames a second version, the castle walls were texture mapped, and you could see outside into the field. So here it's just completely enclosed. And in order to maintain the frame rate, the only thing that you could have that was 3D and fully texture mapped is the characters. The backgrounds have to suffer, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter, because you know what? It's still brilliant. It's still Toshinden. And a retro game is always a retro game, and you definitely know where you stand with retro. And there you have it. Right, well, I guess we can call it kind of a day there. Now, thanks for tuning in and watching with me and being patient. And, of course, with my very antiquated way of reviewing games with my mobile phone. Mind you, I have a new mobile phone now. We've sort of upgraded. So this is done with the Samsung Galaxy S8. So we're doing the best we can. But I will get a video capture card. And anyway, for now, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way because it's still good. Now, the next game I'm going to be reviewing for you, a couple of very interesting ones, really. Now, a lot of you know I've got an Instagram page, and I sort of showed you a brief clip of something called NASCAR Rumble, which on the PlayStation, on the PS1, was released only in America, I think. I'm not sure if they released it in Japan, but in America for sure. And that got released on the PS2 in the form of Rumble Racing. But anyway, we'll be having a look at that in the next review. And also a very special game, a brilliant, fantastic game, which is a little bit controversial, I think, among fans of that particular game. Now, the game in question is called Doom. So we'll be having a look at that very, very shortly in the next review, which is probably coming up today. So anyway, in the meantime, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and you know where you stand with retro. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.